Welcome to Unit 3, Part 2. In Unit 3, Part 2, we're going to talk about solving one-step inequality. So before we do that, I've got a couple definitions here for you. First one is inequality. An inequality is formed when you place an inequality symbol between two expressions. So that's a pretty basic definition. But an example would be that x is an expression and 2 is an expression. And then if we put a greater than sign in front of it, now we have an inequality. So remember, an expression doesn't have an equal sign or anything like that. So putting that inequality symbol turns it into an inequality. The next one is solution of an inequality. The solution is the set of all numbers that produces true statements when substituted for the variables. Okay, and that'll make more sense when we get to it. We also need to review graphing inequalities. So I'm going to walk you through a couple examples here. The first one says x is greater than 2. Now, when I say graphing, I'm not talking about a coordinate plane. We're talking about on a number line right now. So on my number line, I would put a 2 because that's what I want. I have greater than, so I'm going to put an open circle and draw to the right because the greater numbers are to the right. If you look at this example on the right, I have x is less than 2. So for a 2, I'm going to have an open circle, go to the left. The lower numbers are to the left on the number line. For the bottom left, I have x is greater than or equal to 2. So the thing that changes now is that I fill in that circle because it's equal to and going to the right because that's where the greater numbers are. Then on the last one, I have my 2, less than or equal to, close in the circle because it's equal to, go to the left because it's less than. The next part says checking possible solutions. It says tell whether the given number is a solution of -8 is greater than -17 plus x minus 14. So let me walk you through an example here. So I have -8 is greater than -17 plus, and I have x, so I'm going to replace that with -23 minus 14. So now I need to work this out. So -17 plus -23 is going to give me -40. -40 minus 14 is going to be -54. So now I see if it's a solution or not by looking at this. This says -8 is greater than -54, which is true. So yes, that is a solution. I'll let you guys try number 2 there. The next part says tell whether the given number is a solution of x over 8 is less than or equal to -3. So again, I'm going to plug in -16 for x in this case, over 8 is less than or equal to -3. Remember, a fraction means division, so -16 divided by 8 is -2. So now I can read this from left to right. It says -2 is less than or equal to -3, which is not true, so this is not a solution. If you look at the bottom of the page, it's the beginning of just a bunch of examples of solving inequalities. Okay, the directions say to solve an inequality and then graph your solution. Now what you need to know is that when we solve inequalities, we're solving them basically the exact same way as we solve equations. Inequality symbol instead of an equal sign. So that means the first thing I'm going to do is rewrite my equation, or my inequality. So I have n plus 8 is greater than or equal to 12. I box and rewrite. Now I go to the side of the variable, just like I did solving equations, so I have m plus 8. I've got positive 8, I need to get rid of it, so I'm going to subtract 8 from both sides. So these 8s will cancel out. I'll have m is greater than or equal to 12 minus 8 is 4. Now I need to graph it, so I draw my number line. I put a 4. It's greater than or equal to, so that means I have a closed-in circle because it's equal to. Greater than tells me to go to the right. So all of that needs to be done. To look over at number 2, again, I'm going to start by boxing and rewriting. So I have -45 is greater than or equal to g minus 16. So I go to the side with the variable, which is the right side. I'm subtracting 16, so I need to undo that by adding 16. -45 plus 16 is going to give me -29. And then on the right side, they cancel out. So -29 is greater than or equal to g. Now, when you're solving inequalities, you want to rewrite it so that the variable comes first. So if I write the variable first, my inequality symbol needs to flip. so g is less than or equal to negative 29. The reason why we do that is because since we're going to graph it, we want to know everything based on the variable. So I'm going to draw the point at negative 29. It's less than or equal to. Equal to tells me that it's colored in or filled in. Less than tells me to go to the left. Looking at the next page, we have some harder examples just because we need to combine like terms first. But again, I'm still going to start by boxing and rewriting. So I have x minus 8 minus 11 is less than negative 15. I can combine the minus 8 and the minus 11, that gives me minus 19, less than negative 15. I go to the side with the variable to the left side, I have minus 19, so I want to add 19 to both sides, cancel that out. So I'll get x is less than positive 4. I need to graph that, so I draw my number line, put a line 4, it's less than, so it's an open circle, and I'm going to the left. Alright, I'll let you guys do number 4 there. Coming down to number 5, I'm going to box and rewrite this. So I have x over 3 is greater than negative 2. I have x over 3, which is division. The fraction is division, which means I need to multiply. So I multiply by the denominator, which is 3 on both sides. That causes these 3's to cancel out. So I have x is greater than negative 2 times 3 is negative 6. Need to graph that. So I have negative 6. It's greater than, so it's going to be an open circle to the right. I'm going to leave number 6 for you. You might want to wait a second before you do it. Coming down to number 7, I'm going to box it and rewrite it. I have negative 6x is less than or equal to 48. When I just have negative 6x, remember that means I'm multiplying. I'm doing negative 6 times x. To undo multiplication, I have to divide. I divide by the number that's in front of the x, the coefficient. So these cancel out, and I just have x. 48 divided by negative 6 is negative 8. Now here's the thing you need to remember. I'm dividing by a negative, which means I flip my inequality. So less than or equal to goes to greater than or equal to. So when you multiply or divide by a negative, you flip the inequality. So that's important to remember. I need to graph this now, so I draw my number line. I'm working off negative 8. It's greater than or equal to, so equal to tells me to shade it in, or fill it in. Greater than is to the right. So again, I'm going to leave number 6 for you to do, and number 8 for you to do. Watch out for negatives. At the bottom, I put some challenge problems on here. You might have done something like this in science before, but these are difficult because you have more than one variable, and you're trying to solve for a variable. You're not trying to solve for a number. So I want you to give those your best attempt, and then check them on the answer key and ask you if you have any questions. All right.